it's Kate here from BeyondFit Physiques. How many calories should you eat while you're breastfeeding if you're still hoping to lose that baby weight? This is a great question, and it's one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from the moms that I work with. I want to start by telling you a quick story. I was 5 months postpartum when I began training for my very first bikini competition. I was super worried that my training and my diet would affect my breast milk supply. And, I promised myself that if I noticed a decrease in my milk production, that I would stop immediately. I would just forget the show, and I would save the goal of getting on stage for another time. It wasn't as important to me as having a healthy child. And if you're a mom, I'm sure you can relate to that. This is Jackson, and he is just the most precious, sweetest gift that I have ever received. So I want to share with you, though, that I figured out something awesome. I figured out a nutrition plan that allowed me to accomplish both goals. I was able to exclusively breastfeed my son, who is now down running around and who knows what he's getting into, and I was able to get in the best shape of my life. So not only was there no decrease in my breast milk supply, but I was actually able to get in competition shape while exclusively breastfeeding. And I was pumping extra to freeze. In fact, I still have breast milk stored in my freezer that we haven't used yet. So Jackson is almost 16 months old, and if that's an attestament to the milk production and the breastfeeding, there you have it. So I have several of my clients in my local boot camp and in online postpartum fat loss programs right now who are currently breastfeeding. And a couple of you mentioned on the Facebook page that this was a question you had. So I wanted to address this with you today. I receive so many questions from breastfeeding moms. They're wondering, how many calories should I eat while I'm breastfeeding? And another common question is, what do I do to lose weight or to burn fat if I'm still breastfeeding, if I'm nursing? A lot of moms feel selfish saying that they want to lose their baby weight. I can relate because I was there just a few months ago. But let's be real here. What new mom isn't trying to lose her baby fat? We're all in this together, and I haven't met a new mom who isn't at least somewhat concerned with getting her body back. Lots of moms are worried that trying to get back in shape may affect their breast milk supply. And I get it. I've been there and I've done that. But I have come to tell you today that it absolutely can be done. Okay? So there's good news for new moms out there everywhere. These goals are not mutually exclusive. So I was able to train and to compete and actually to place at the top of my very first bikini competition at 7 months postpartum while, and this is the key here, while I was breastfeeding. There is no doubt in my mind that you can reach your goals too. So if you're a new mom who's nursing and watching this, do not worry. We can get you to your goals too. So the big question, how many calories should I eat while breastfeeding if I want to lose weight? A couple of you asked on the Facebook page too. Yes, it is true. I brought my breast pump backstage at my bikini show, and I pumped milk and put it in a cooler. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm typically not a big fan of pumping. I would rather just nurse, but that was one occasion backstage that I did do that. So back to the big question. So, how can you breastfeed without counting calories? Because here's the thing, what mom has time to count calories? I am way too busy to count calories. First, you have to know that when it comes to breastfeeding and fat loss, both calories and hormones play a role. So I don't typically like counting calories. First, like I mentioned, because I don't have time for it. And the second reason is because it just completely ignores the hormonal aspect. It's time consuming and it really doesn't have an impact on your fat loss if you're ignoring the hormonal aspect as well. So paying attention to hormones is something that is personal to each individual. The more lean muscle mass you have and the more active you are, the more calories you're gonna burn per day and you'll still be able to lose fat. So there's so many factors that if you're just counting calories, you're not gonna get an accurate perspective on where your fat loss goals should be or if you'll even be able to achieve them. For example, a 150-pound woman can eat more than a 130-pound woman if the 150-pound woman has a lot of lean muscle mass, right? If the 130-pound woman is sedentary, she won't be able to eat as much. So if you're a mom and if you're breastfeeding, don't worry about the calories, okay? You are a primary food source for your baby, and your body is going to need about 300 to 500 calories a day just for milk production. So if you dip too low in calories while you're nursing, your milk supply will be affected and you'll start to become malnourished and it'll start affecting your baby. So counting calories and going too low in the calorie counting kind of dieting world is just not a good idea for moms, okay? Caloric needs are something that is individual to each mom. So, how do you really know how much your body needs? Great question, right? You need energy to get through the day, and you need energy to keep up your supply. But you still want to be eating in a way that promotes fat loss, right? So, how do you know what the right amount to eat to keep up your milk supply is? If you don't count calories, you're not going to know exactly what you're consuming. And I get that, I understand, but I have come up with a calorie-free solution to burning fat and breastfeeding. Personally, I ditched counting calories and I use metabolic hormones as my guide to find the correct level for my body. If you're a breastfeeding mom and you're trying to lose fat, I recommend you do the same. So ditch the calories, focus on the metabolic hormones. I call it the BeyondFit Breastfeeding Guide, and it's such an easy way to know if you're on track to burn fat and to keep your milk supply up. So those are our two goals, right? You can use the responses that I'm going to share with you to adjust your protein, your fat, and your carbohydrate intake. You'll address these and adjust them accordingly, okay? So here's the guide. If you're seeing fat loss results, but, and this is the big but, you're experiencing hunger, you have low energy, or you have cravings, then what you're going to want to do is to increase your protein and your fiber intake, okay? If you are not seeing fat loss results and you're experiencing hunger, low energy, or decreased milk supply, then you're going to want to increase your protein and your fiber intake as well. Here's another scenario. If you are gaining fat and are experiencing hunger, low energy, or decreased milk supply, then what you're going to want to do is actually lower your starch and your fat intake. If you're a mom who is not seeing fat loss results, but you have balanced hunger, you have energy, and you have a steady milk supply, All you need to do is increase your protein intake and lower your starch intake. Another scenario that's very common for moms is if you're actually gaining fat, but you have balanced hunger, energy, and a steady milk supply. What you will do then is simply lower your starch intake. And of course, the best place to be if you are a mom who is seeing fat loss results and you have balanced hunger, energy, and a steady milk supply. So that's the goal. If you get there, congratulations. You don't have to count calories, your metabolic hormones are balanced, and you have found the perfect fat loss plus breastfeeding formula for your individual body.